I'm 99 years old. 99. That number doesn't feel real until you realize what it means. It means I don't have next year. I might not even have next month. And I need you to hear this like it's a hand on your shoulder. Your phone is not just a phone. It's a quiet thief. It doesn't kick down the door. It doesn't scream. It just takes, minute by minute, look by look, conversation by conversation, and it always takes the same thing first, your attention. You keep saying the same little lie, a small lie, a polite lie, a lie that sounds harmless. You say, just a second, just a second, just a second. You have no idea how expensive that sentence is. I didn't grow up with your kind of phone. I grew up with a crank on the wall and a cord so long it could trip you. I grew up with letters that took 3 days to arrive and felt like treasure when they did. So I'm not anti-technology. No, listen, I'm anti-absence. And your phone teaches absence like a religion. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to tell you one scene, just one, because one is enough. It was Sunday. Not a holiday, not a birthday. Just a plain Sunday. Those are the ones that actually matter. My son Daniel came to see me. He's 67 now, and his hair is getting thin in the front like mine did. He brought my granddaughter, Mia. She's 16. She walked in wearing those big white sneakers that look like small boats, hoodie 2 sizes too big, hair pulled up fast with a clip like she did it in the car. She smelled like fruit gum and that vanilla lotion young girls slather on like armor. Daniel hugged me first. A quick hug, a working man hug. One pat on the back like, "Still here, Dad?" Then Mia stepped forward and did that half-hug thing teenagers do. One arm, one shoulder. The kind of hug where their body is already leaving. And the whole time, her phone was already in her hand. Not even up to her ear, not even a call, just held like a handle, like a safety bar. We sat down. Daniel asked me about my appetite, about the weather, about my sleep. All the questions people ask when they don't know what else to say to someone old enough to scare them. Mia sat across from me, knee bouncing, thumb moving. The light from that screen kept flickering over her face, blue, white, blue, like a little storm living in her hands. Every few seconds her phone made that tiny sound, not even a ring, a soft bzzzt, like a mosquito. I really tried. I leaned forward and said, "Mia, how's school?" She didn't look up, not right away. She gave me good, one syllable. Her eyes stayed down like the answer was stored in the phone and she had to read it off. Daniel said, "Tell him about the play you're in." Mia smiled, still not looking up, and said, "It's not a big deal." I said, "What's your part?" She said, "I don't know." And then, this is the part that made my stomach go tight. She laughed at something on the screen, a real laugh, a bright laugh. The laugh you want to hear from your granddaughter while you're still alive to hear it. But it wasn't for us. It wasn't even in the room. So I watched her, not in a creepy way, in an old man way, in a this might be one of the last times way. She had a little bandage on her index finger, like she'd nicked it on something and didn't want anyone to ask. Her nails were painted a pale pink, chipped at the tips. There was a tiny ink mark on the side of her hand. School pen, probably. A little heart someone drew. All these details I could see because I was looking at her like she mattered, like she was a person, not a visitor, and she couldn't see anything about me because she wasn't really there. I said her name again. "Mia." She finally looked up, just for a moment, eyes on mine, and I saw it. That reflex, That itch, that pull back down, like she touched a hot stove. She said, "Yeah?" And I almost said it right then. I almost said, "Put it away." I almost said, "Look at me." I almost said, "I'm not going to be here forever." But I didn't, because I didn't want to be the cranky old man yelling at a teenager. So I swallowed it, and I watched the moment slip away like water through a cracked cup. Daniel stayed for 40 minutes. Mia stayed for 40 minutes. And I'd be generous if I said I got 4 minutes of her. And when they stood to leave, Mia put her phone in her pocket for the hug, for the performance of presence. That's what broke my heart. The phone went away for the goodbye, not for the being together. After they left, I sat there staring at the empty chair she'd been in, and I thought about my own life. Because here's the confession you probably don't expect from a 99-year-old. I did the same thing, not with a phone, but with distraction. I had my own version, work, worry, newspapers spread wide like a wall. Always busy, always tired, always later. And I said the same little lie in a different outfit. I said, "Just a second. Just a second. Let me finish this. Let me handle that. Let me get through this week." My wife, Ruth, God, I miss that woman. She used to talk to me in the evenings. Not big speeches, little things, something her sister said, a funny mistake at the grocery store, a memory from when she was 10. And I'd half listen. I'd nod, I'd grunt, I'd act like my body being in the room was the same thing as me being with her. One night, this was 1998, I remember, because we'd just bought that clunky computer everybody was so proud of, she said, "You're here, but you're not with me." And I got defensive. Of course I did. I said, "I'm right here." She said, "Your eyes aren't." That sentence followed me for years, because she was right. My eyes weren't. My mind wasn't. My attention was always somewhere else, some imaginary fire I thought I had to put out. And you know what's cruel? The fires keep coming. They always do. You finish one problem, another shows up wearing a different hat. So if you keep waiting for calm before you show up for people, you will be absent your whole life. Ruth died on a Tuesday, ordinary day. That's how it happens. Not dramatic, not poetic, ordinary. And here's the part that still makes me feel sick when I say it. 2 hours before she died, she tried to tell me something. She was in bed. Her voice was thin. She said, "Come here." And I said, "Listen to me." I said, "Just a second," because my phone was buzzing. Not even important. Some message, some nonsense, some little red dot demanding worship. When I turned back, her eyes were closed, and she never opened them again. So don't tell me just a second is harmless. Don't tell me you'll make it up later. Later is where regret lives. Later is where funerals happen. Later is where you sit alone, replaying the moments you treated like they'd always come back. You think the big enemy is cheating, or screaming fights, or some scandal. No, the real enemy is indifference, the slow kind, the kind that looks like I'm listening while your thumb keeps scrolling. The kind that looks like I'm spending time with them while your brain is somewhere else. The kind that turns a marriage into roommates, a parent into a background character, a child into a stranger you share a roof with. And you know what makes me angry? Not at Mia, not at teenagers, not even at you. It makes me angry at how normal we've made it, how you can sit across from someone you love and give them the worst version of yourself, while you give strangers on a screen your full face, your full laugh, your full attention. That is backward. That is sick. And it's costing you your life in tiny pieces. So here's the truth from someone who has buried too many people and lived too long with too much quiet. At the end, you don't miss your emails. You don't miss the videos you watched. You don't miss the updates. You miss eyes. You miss hands. You miss the sound of someone saying your name like it matters. You miss being there. Let me give you something concrete. Not inspirational, not fluffy, practical. Do these today, not next week, not when things calm down. Today. 1. When you eat with someone, anyone, phone goes away, not face down, not silent. Away, different room if you can, because face down isn't discipline, face down is temptation. 2. Pick one person you love and give them 10 minutes of real attention, 10 minutes where you don't multitask, no screens, no while your eyes drift. 10 minutes is nothing, and it's everything. 3. Ask a question that can't be answered with good, not how was your day? That's a trap. Ask, what was the best part? Ask, what are you worried about? Ask, what are you excited about that you haven't told anyone? And then shut up. Listen like it's the last time, because one day it will be. And here's the part that's going to sting. If you're using your phone to avoid someone, you already know it. You feel it in your chest when they start talking and you reach for the screen. You feel it when silence hits and you'd rather scroll than sit in it together. You feel it when they're right there and you're still somewhere else. That's not being busy. That's training yourself to abandon people in small ways. And those small ways add up to a life you can't get back. Mia will grow up. She'll leave. She'll get older. Maybe one day she'll sit where I'm sitting and think about that Sunday, and she'll remember the blue light on her own face. And she'll wonder why she didn't look up more. And I don't want that for her. I don't want that for you. Because regret is heavy, and it doesn't care how productive you were. It only asks one question. Were you there? So here's my challenge. Direct. Simple. No excuses. When this ends, put the phone down. Not in a minute. Not after one more scroll. Now, stand up. Walk to the nearest person you love. Or call them if you're alone and say this, I'm here, I'm listening. Tell me something real. Then prove it. No screen. No wandering eyes. No, just a second. I'm 99. I'm out of runway. You are not. Not yet. So don't let that little glowing rectangle steal the only thing you can't earn back. Your life, your people, your moments, and for God's sake, look up.